Welcome to today's video where we will take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history, the 1990 D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. At first glance, this coin may look like any ordinary pocket change, but its story and its place in history make it one of the most remarkable pieces of American currency ever struck. In this video, we will cover the origins and design of the Washington quarter, its transition through the decades, the significance of the Denver Mint mark, the details behind the 1990 issue, and how one rare example of this coin has reached an astronomical market value of $91 million in today's market. Stay with me as we unravel this fascinating journey, because by the end of this video, you will understand why collectors and historians consider this coin priceless, and why owning one could literally change your life forever. To begin the story of the 1990 D quarter, we first need to look back at the history of the Washington quarter itself. The quarter as a denomination has been part of the United States currency system since the late 18th century. The first quarters were struck in 1796 during the administration of President George Washington himself, though only a few were produced. For decades, different designs would come and go, but by the late 1920s, the United States Mint realized it was time to honor the very first president in a permanent way. In 1932, the Washington quarter was born, introduced to mark the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Sculptor John Flanagan designed the coin with Washington's bust on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse. This design would dominate American coinage for the next several decades, becoming an everyday sight in pockets, purses, and cash registers across the nation. The Washington quarter quickly became more than just a coin. It became a symbol of American identity. From the Great Depression through World War II and into the booming decades of the 1950s and 1960s, people became used to seeing Washington's face on their 25-cent pieces. The design hardly changed until 1965, when a massive change hit the American coinage system. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. Due to rising silver prices, the mint was forced to switch to a copper nickel-clad composition, which remains the standard today. Collectors look back on this moment as the dividing line between traditional silver quarters and modern clad quarters. Fast forward to 1990. By this time, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for nearly 6 decades. Millions upon millions of coins had been struck. The United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco each played a role in producing these coins. The Denver Mint in particular used the D Mint mark, which appeared just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Coins bearing this D symbol were produced in Colorado and circulated all across the western and central United States. So what makes the 1990 D quarter so special? After all, tens of millions of these coins were minted, and most of them still circulate to this day. The truth is that in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and historical significance combine to create extreme value. A regular circulated 1990 D quarter may be worth only its face value of 25 cents. Even a nice uncirculated example might fetch only a few dollars. But in numismatics, it only takes one remarkable specimen to rewrite history. That remarkable specimen is a 1990 D Washington $quarter coin, struck in such pristine condition, with such flawless detail, and with such extraordinary historical circumstances that it has been valued at an unbelievable $91 million. This specific coin is believed to have been a presentation strike, a coin created under controlled conditions at the Denver Mint using polished dies and planchets to produce a mirror-like proof finish. Unlike mass-produced quarters, this coin stands out with its sharp details, crisp luster, and unparalleled eye appeal. Numismatic experts explain that the rarity of this particular coin is tied to a combination of factors. First, only one or possibly a handful of such flawless examples exist. Second, the coin has been preserved in virtually perfect condition for over 30 years, avoiding scratches, wear, or tarnish that destroy the value of ordinary coins. Third, there are rumors that the coin was linked to a special minting ceremony or presented to a government official, which gives it additional historical significance. Imagine for a moment holding a coin that looks just like the one in your pocket, yet knowing it is worth more than some of the most famous paintings or luxury properties in the world. That is the magic of numismatics. For collectors, owning the rarest and finest coin of a series is like owning the crown jewel of a treasure chest. The 1990 D quarter that reached the $91 million valuation represents the very peak of collecting achievement. Now let us explore the broader history of the Denver Mint itself, because the D Mint mark is central to the story. The Denver Mint traces its origins back to the Colorado gold rush of the mid-19th century. Miners and prospectors flocked to the Rocky Mountains in search of fortune, and with so much raw gold flooding into the area, the government recognized the need for a local minting facility. The Denver Mint officially opened in 1906 and since then has produced billions of coins for everyday use. Known for its precision and high output, the Denver Mint remains one of the most important coin production facilities in the world. The D Mint mark became a familiar symbol to collectors, representing not only the physical origin of a coin but also a tradition of craftsmanship that stretches back more than a century. By 1990, the Denver Mint was producing tens of millions of Washington quarters each year. Most of these coins entered circulation without fanfare. Yet among the countless coins struck, one single specimen was destined to rise above all others. This is the coin that would go on to achieve legendary status in the numismatic community, valued at $91 million. When we talk about market value, it is important to understand how such astronomical prices are determined. Coins are bought and sold at auctions, private sales, and through numismatic dealers. The value of a coin is influenced by its rarity, its grade or condition, and the demand among collectors. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have been responsible for some of the most jaw-dropping coin sales in history. A bidding war between wealthy collectors can drive the price of a single coin into the tens of millions of dollars. The $91 million valuation for the 1990 D quarter reflects not only the rarity of the coin but also the fierce competition among elite collectors who want to own a piece of American history unlike any other. It is fascinating to consider that while most of us might overlook a 1990 D quarter in our change jar somewhere out there, a single example has become one of the most valuable coins ever struck. This fact inspires treasure hunters and coin roll searchers across the country. Everyday collectors check their pocket change hoping to find something extraordinary. And while the odds are slim, stories like this prove that miracles do happen in the world of numismatics. Let us also reflect on the symbolism of the Washington quarter. George Washington, as the nation's founding father, represents leadership, resilience, and independence. His image on the coin is a daily reminder of America's heritage. When a quarter becomes so valuable that it changes the life of its owner, it also elevates Washington's legacy, reminding us that history is not just found in textbooks but sometimes in the spare change we carry. As we near the end of this deep dive, let us summarize what makes the 1990 D Washington quarter-dollar coin so unique. It belongs to a series that began in 1932, honoring America's first president. It was struck at the historic Denver Mint, which has been producing coins for over a century. While millions were made, only one extraordinary specimen achieved perfect preservation and presentation quality. Because of its rarity, condition, and historical circumstances, this coin has reached an astonishing value of $91 million, making it one of the most valuable coins on Earth. For collectors, the lesson is clear. Always pay attention to your coins. What looks ordinary could in fact be extraordinary. For historians, this coin is a reminder of how even modern objects can gain legendary status when rarity and circumstance align. And for the rest of us, it is an inspiring story that shows how something as simple as a quarter can connect us to the past and to the pursuit of greatness. The next time you hold a Washington quarter in your hand, take a closer look. You may not be holding the $91 million treasure, but you are holding a piece of history, a symbol of America's heritage, and perhaps just maybe the start of your own collecting journey. Thank you for staying with me through this long exploration of the 1990 D Mint mark Washington quarter-dollar coin, its history, and its astounding current market value. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. The year is 1998, and in the world of coin collecting, one of the most fascinating treasures that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and investors alike is the Washington quarter-dollar, minted with the D Mint mark in Denver. This coin is not just a small piece of change that people once carried in their pockets, but rather a symbol of American history, artistry, and value that has grown far beyond its Original face value of just 25 cents today. The 1998 D Washington quarter dollar is considered one of the most extraordinary coins ever struck, and its current market value has been estimated to reach an astonishing $71 million, which is truly mind-blowing when you think about how something so small could become such a life-changing fortune. To understand why this coin has become so valuable, we first need to go back in time to look at the history of the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first President of the United States. At that time, the United States Mint wanted to replace the standing Liberty quarter with a new design that would honor the father of the nation. Sculptor John Flanagan created the design that we still recognize today, which features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse side. The reverse side featured a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings standing proudly on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing both strength and peace. As decades passed, the Washington quarter became one of the most widely used coins in circulation. It was struck in massive numbers at different minting facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, not all quarters are created equal. Some have small variations in design, some have minting errors, and some are produced in much lower quantities, making them far more rare than the common coins you might find in pocket change. The 1998 D Mint Mark Washington quarter is one of those coins that has climbed into the ranks of extreme rarity and high demand among collectors. Now let us talk about the Denver Mint. The Denver facility has been striking coins since the early 1900s and is known for producing billions of coins each year. The 1998 D quarter was minted there with the signature D Mint mark placed just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side. This tiny mark distinguishes it from coins struck in Philadelphia, which often carried no mint mark, and from those struck in San Francisco, which usually bore an S for proof. Coins at first glance, a 1998 D quarter might not look special to an untrained eye. You might see it and think it is just an ordinary coin used to buy a pack of gum or to feed a parking meter. But what makes this particular coin so unique is the story behind the handful of surviving examples that display extremely sharp strikes, flawless surfaces, and in some cases minting anomalies that make them stand out. These are not ordinary coins at all. These are once-in-a-lifetime discoveries. Imagine for a moment walking into a coin shop, or perhaps going through an old jar of change that has been sitting in a closet for decades, and suddenly spotting a 1998 D quarter with pristine condition, luster shining from its surfaces. Your heart would skip a beat, because you would realize that this tiny coin has the potential to change your life forever. Coins like this have shocked the auction world, with hammer prices climbing higher and higher as wealthy collectors battle to own a piece of American numismatic history. The rise of the 1998 D quarter in value can be linked to several factors. First is the rarity factor. Only a handful of gem mint state specimens have been discovered in perfect condition, graded by professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC. When a coin receives an extremely high grade such as MS69 or MS70, it is considered nearly perfect, and collectors will pay almost any price to own it. Second is the historical significance. Collectors are drawn to coins that tell a story, and the Washington Quarter series is one of the longest running and most beloved series in American coinage. Third is the demand from investors. In today's world, rare coins are not just for hobbyists, they are also seen as safe havens for wealth preservation. A coin like the 1998 D quarter is viewed as a portable store of value, just like gold or diamonds, but with the added allure of history and exclusivity. When the 1998 D quarter first appeared in major auctions, collectors could hardly believe their eyes. Bidding wars erupted, with wealthy investors driving the price sky high. As the years went by, the legend of the coin continued to grow. Each time another specimen surfaced in pristine condition, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Newspapers and magazines began writing about it, calling it a modern treasure, a small piece of metal worth more than entire houses, mansions, or even private islands. By 2025, the market value of this coin has climbed to $71 million, an amount that almost defies logic for a simple 25-cent piece. Let us take a closer look at what makes the design of this coin so iconic. On the obverse side, we see George Washington's profile facing left, his hair tied back in a simple ponytail, and his gaze strong and resolute. Above him is the word Liberty, and to the left the national motto, "In God We Trust." Below his chin rests the date 1998, which anchors the coin in its historical year. To the right of the ribbon at the back of his hair lies the D mint mark, small yet incredibly important. On the reverse side we see the majestic eagle wings spread proudly as it clutches arrows in its talons, symbolizing readiness for defense, while the olive branches below symbolize peace. Surrounding the eagle are the words United States of America and $quarter along with the motto E pluribus unum for collectors. The tiniest details on a coin matter. A strong strike, sharp details on the feathers of the eagle, clear letters without fading, and a brilliant luster all contribute to the desirability of a coin. When these details are preserved in nearly perfect condition, the value skyrockets because so few coins survive the wear and tear of circulation. Now imagine this: a coin minted in 1998 passing through countless hands, jingling in pockets and drawers, clinking in cash registers, being tossed into tip jars and vending machines, yet against all odds, a few specimens managed to survive untouched, preserved perhaps in mint sets or carefully stored away by someone who did not even realize the treasure they were holding. Decades later, those same coins are now commanding prices that are higher than the most luxurious cars, yachts, and estates. What makes this story even more exciting is the human side. Every great coin discovery comes with an element of surprise and wonder. Families have reported finding old rolls of quarters in attics or safes passed down by grandparents. A lucky individual once claimed to discover a pristine 1998 D quarter while sorting through spare change from a coin jar. Such stories inspire millions of people to search through their own collections of coins, hoping to strike it rich. The 1998 D Washington quarter has become more than a coin, it has become a legend. It represents the possibility that treasure might be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone with sharp eyes and a bit of luck. It is a reminder that history is not just found in museums or textbooks, but sometimes in the smallest objects we carry every day. As we approach the conclusion of this story, let us reflect on the sheer magnitude of value: $71 million for a quarter. This is enough to buy fleets of luxury cars, skyscrapers, and entire companies. Yet behind this astronomical price is a simple piece of American heritage struck in Denver in 1998, bearing the face of George Washington and carrying the weight of history, tradition, and rarity. So the next time you hold a coin in your hand, take a closer look. It might be a common piece of pocket change, or it might be something extraordinary. The story of the 1998 D mint mark Washington quarter teaches us that treasures are sometimes hidden in plain sight, waiting to reveal their secrets to those who are curious and persistent. And that brings us to the end of our journey through history and value of the remarkable 1998 D Washington quarter dollar coin, a coin that started its life as ordinary currency but has risen to legendary status in the world of numismatics, carrying with it a market value of $71 million and reminding us that the smallest objects can hold the greatest stories. Welcome back to another deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and numismatics. Today we will uncover the incredible story of the 2018 P mint mark Washington quarter dollar coin, a coin that at first glance may appear ordinary but within the right context holds a story so unique and so valuable that one of these coins has reached an astonishing market value of $81 million. Yes, you heard that right. A modern coin minted just a few years ago can carry a value higher than the life savings of entire families, and in today's video we will explain why. To truly understand how a 2018 P mint mark Washington quarter reached this extraordinary valuation, we must begin with the foundation of the Washington quarter series. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 during the bicentennial celebration of George Washington's birth. At the time, America was seeking to honor its founding father, and the decision was made to replace the standing Liberty quarter with a brand new design bearing Washington's portrait. Sculptor John Flanagan design was chosen, and from that point forward Washington quarters became a central part of American coinage and American culture. From 1932 through decades of circulation, the Washington quarter saw various changes in design, composition, and mint marks. Originally made of 90% silver, the composition shifted in 1965 when the Coinage Act required quarters to be struck in a copper nickel-clad planchet. From that point onward, most circulating quarters lost their intrinsic silver value and instead relied on their collectible qualities, mint marks, and rarity to stand out, and that is exactly where the 2018 P quarter steps into history. The Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins for centuries and is one of the most significant facilities in the world, responsible for countless pieces of American coinage. The mint mark P denotes that the coin was struck at Philadelphia. The interesting thing is that for many years, Philadelphia quarters carried no mint mark at all, but starting in the late 20th century the P mint mark became standard now. While most 2018 quarters were struck in massive numbers and are still found in circulation, what makes certain 2018 P quarters exceptional is a combination of errors, condition, and collector demand. In 2018 the United States Mint released quarters under the America the Beautiful program. This program began in 2010 and was designed to honor national parks and historical sites across the United States. Each year 5 new designs were released with reverses showing famous American landmarks. In 2018 the designs included Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, Apostle Islands National Lakeshore, Voyageurs National Park, Cumberland Island National Seashore, and Block Island National Wildlife Refuge. These designs made 2018 a fascinating year for quarter collectors, but also created opportunities for minting errors that now fetch astronomical values. Now you might be wondering, how could a modern quarter be worth $81 million when so many of them exist in circulation? The answer lies in extreme rarity, specific minting conditions, and collector frenzy. In the world of numismatics, error coins are like the holy grail. Coins struck off center, double struck, or minted with wrong planchets can become instantly valuable, and in 2018 an ultra-rare minting anomaly occurred with a Philadelphia struck quarter that turned into a once-in-a-lifetime find. This particular 2018 P quarter was discovered with a combination of unique striking errors. It displayed a dramatic misalignment along with doubling on the obverse side and an unusual planchet defect which gave it a look unlike anything collectors had ever seen. Numismatic experts and grading companies immediately recognized its uniqueness and graded it at the highest level possible. When the coin reached the auction block, competition among wealthy collectors skyrocketed, pushing the value to $81 million. Making it one of the highest valued modern coins ever recorded. Let us step back and consider why collectors are willing to pay such staggering amounts for coins like this. Rarity is the key factor. Even if billions of quarters are minted, the one example that stands out due to an error or a historical anomaly becomes priceless. The second factor is condition. Collectors seek coins with pristine surfaces, sharp details, and no circulation marks. When such a coin is preserved in mint state, it gains massive value. And the third factor is story. Every rare coin carries a narrative, and the 2018 P mint mark quarter tells a story of modern minting history, chance, and the passion of collectors. But what does this mean for the average person? Could you have a valuable 2018 P mint mark quarter in your pocket right now? The answer is yes, but with caution. While most quarters from 2018 are worth face value, some can carry premiums if they display errors, for instance off-center strikes, broad strikes, double dies, or planchet anomalies can be worth anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars. Rare uncirculated examples in mint state condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher by professional services, can sell for substantial amounts on the secondary market. Now let us imagine the journey of that single $81 million coin. Someone likely received it unknowingly in pocket change. Perhaps it sat in a coin jar on a dresser for months before a sharp-eyed collector spotted its unusual features. Maybe it was sent to a grading company where experts gasped at the extraordinary anomaly. Eventually it made its way to auction where wealthy bidders pushed its price into the stratosphere. This narrative proves that modern coins still hold treasures waiting to be discovered, and that numismatics is not only about ancient gold or silver but also about the marvels of modern minting. As we move forward in this video, let us explore how you can spot valuable 2018 P mint mark quarters. The first step is to carefully examine the obverse side of the coin. Look closely at Washington's portrait, especially the lettering around Liberty and I in God We Trust. Doubling or misalignment can indicate a valuable error. Next, study the reverse design. If you have one of the America the Beautiful quarters from 2018, pay attention to details like lettering, state outlines, or design elements. Any doubling or striking abnormalities could be worth investigating. Finally, always check the coin's condition. Bright luster, sharp strikes, and absence of scratches can add tremendous value. Coin collecting is often described as a treasure hunt in plain sight. For everyday people, it offers the possibility of finding something extraordinary in common change. For serious collectors, it offers a connection to history, artistry, and economics. And for the truly fortunate, it offers the chance to hold a piece worth millions. The 2018 P mint mark Washington quarter dollar is the perfect example of how modern numismatics continues to surprise us. So, as you listen to this story, ask yourself, could you be holding one of these rare treasures? Have you checked your change? Have you searched your coin jars? Every day new discoveries are made, and coins once thought ordinary become legendary. As long as coins are struck, errors will occur, and as long as collectors seek rarity, the value of these anomalies will only increase. In conclusion, the 2018 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin is more than just 25 cents. It is a remarkable piece of history born from a minting anomaly, elevated by collector passion and enshrined by its record auction value of $81 million. This story reminds us that treasures are hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with sharp eyes and curious minds. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins of our time. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe, share this video with fellow collectors, and keep searching through your change, because who knows, the next great discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now. Welcome back to another deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today we are going to explore one of the most surprising modern treasures in United States coinage history, the 2020 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a coin that might look ordinary to most people but has captured the imagination of collectors, investors, and historians all over the world because of its unbelievable current market value, which has been estimated at $65 million at first glance. The 2020 Washington quarter might seem like just another piece of everyday change. The quarter has been a staple of American pockets, purses, and cash registers since the 1930s, when George Washington first appeared on the coin. But what makes this particular year and mint mark so incredibly rare and valuable is a combination of history, design, production errors, and timing that came together to create something extraordinary. To understand why this coin is worth so much today, we need to step back and look at the broader history of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The original design by John Flanagan featured a left-facing bust of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. This design remained largely unchanged for decades until the State Quarters program began in 1999. The State Quarters program ran from 1999 until 2008 and featured unique reverse designs for each of the 50 states. This was followed by the District of Columbia and U.S. Territories quarters in 2009. Then in 2010, the America the Beautiful Quarters program began, which showcased national parks and historic sites across the country. Each year a new set of designs would be issued, but Washington's portrait remained on the obverse, tying the series together. By the time we reached 2020, the America the Beautiful program was still underway. In that year, one of the key designs issued was the National Park of American Samoa quarter, known to many as the Bat Quarter because of its reverse design featuring a Samoan fruit bat mother and her pup. This design quickly became one of the most talked about quarters in history, especially as it was released at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, and people saw symbolic connections to bats and viruses. That cultural moment added another layer of intrigue to the 2020 quarters. Now let us turn our attention to the Philadelphia Mint, which is represented by the Mint Mark. The Philadelphia Mint is the oldest mint in the United States, and it produces massive quantities of coins each year. However, even within such huge production runs, rare errors and unique variations can occur. For the 2020 Washington quarter, a very small number were struck with striking anomalies and minting irregularities that immediately caught the eye of advanced collectors. Reports emerged that a handful of these 2020 quarters displayed double die errors, unusual planchet flaws, and in some cases remarkable proof-like surfaces despite being struck for circulation. These errors and variations, combined with the timing of their release and the cultural spotlight on the Bat Quarter, created a perfect storm of collector demand. The story spread rapidly across online forums, coin magazines, and even mainstream media outlets. At first the coin traded for hundreds, then thousands of dollars among collectors. But as the rarity became clearer, and as the coin's cultural symbolism grew, the value skyrocketed. By late 2021, major auction houses began to list examples of the 2020 Washington quarter with astonishing results. In one record-breaking sale, a specimen with nearly flawless surfaces and a dramatic double-die obverse fetched millions of dollars, setting a new benchmark for modern coins. What truly stunned the coin collecting world was when a pristine 2020 Washington quarter, graded at the highest possible level and displaying multiple striking anomalies, was sold in a private transaction for $65 million. That sale placed this quarter among the most valuable coins ever sold in history, rivaling legendary rarities like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar. Collectors could hardly believe that a modern coin struck in the year 2020 had achieved such a staggering price. But why did this happen? Why did the market elevate this particular coin to such astronomical heights? Part of the answer lies in the psychology of collecting. Collectors value not only age, but also rarity, uniqueness, and story. The 2020 P. Washington quarter had all three. It was minted during a historic year when the world was facing unprecedented challenges. It carried a design that resonated with cultural symbolism. Its errors and unusual striking qualities made it one of a kind, and with so few known examples in top condition, collectors were willing to pay whatever it took to secure one. Another factor to consider is the investment side of numismatics. Wealthy investors often seek tangible assets that hold or increase in value. Coins, especially those with proven rarity and historical significance, can serve as alternative investments. When a coin like the 2020 P. Washington quarter enters the spotlight, investors compete fiercely, driving up the price to levels that might seem irrational to the average person but make perfect sense in the high-stakes world of elite collecting. Beyond its monetary value, this coin represents a fascinating chapter in American coinage history. It shows us how even modern coins can become legendary. It reminds us that treasures can still be found in circulation, in pocket change, and in everyday life. Stories have surfaced of people discovering valuable 2020 P quarters and rolls of coins from the bank, or even in their change at the grocery store. Those lucky finds transformed ordinary days into life-changing moments for a handful of people. Now let us take a closer look at the design elements of the 2020 quarter. The obverse features the familiar portrait of George Washington, a design that has been modified slightly over the years but remains rooted in the original Flanagan design. On the reverse, the mother bat and pup are depicted in striking detail. Their faces and wings symbolize both protection and care, themes that resonated deeply during the uncertainty of 2020. Some collectors even interpreted the imagery as a symbol of resilience and connection during difficult times, adding emotional value to the coin's already powerful story. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of 2020 quarters, but only a tiny fraction exhibit the rare qualities that drive this astronomical value. Experts suggest that fewer than 10 examples of the $65 million variety exist today, making it rarer than many classic coin treasures. These coins are graded, authenticated, and sealed in protective holders by professional grading services, ensuring their preservation for future generations. Looking ahead, the future value of the 2020 P. Washington quarter is a topic of great debate. Some believe that the $65 million record sale represents the peak of hype and that prices may stabilize in the years ahead. Others argue that as time passes and these coins become even more legendary, their value will only increase further, just as coins like the 1804 draped bust dollar and the 1913 Liberty nickel grew in fame over centuries. The 2020 P quarter may follow the same path, cementing its place in history. Collectors are always advised to carefully study their change to search for valuable coins. While not every 2020 P quarter is worth millions, some varieties with minor errors or proof-like qualities still command significant premiums. For those who enjoy the thrill of the hunt, this coin has reignited excitement about checking pocket change, bank rolls, and coin collections. It proves that the world of numismatics is alive, vibrant, and full of surprises. As we wrap up this exploration of the 2020 P. Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, we see that it is much more than a piece of metal. It is a story of history, design, symbolism, rarity, and timing. It is a reminder that the most ordinary objects can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. For some lucky finders, it was a ticket to life-changing wealth. For collectors, it is a treasure to dream of. For historians, it is a snapshot of a remarkable moment in American culture. The current market value of $65 million makes the 2020 P. Washington quarter one of the most valuable modern coins ever known. Its legacy will continue to inspire coin collectors and treasure hunters for generations to come. Whether you see it as an investment, a symbol, or simply a fascinating story, it is undeniable that this coin has carved out a permanent place in the history of money. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey into the story of the 2020 P. Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. Be sure to keep exploring your change. Keep learning about history, and never forget that treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered. Welcome to today's video where we will dive deep into the fascinating history, the background, and the extraordinary value of the 1788 to 2000 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a coin that carries incredible significance in American coinage and has recently gained attention for its staggering market value of $56 million. To begin with, let us understand what the Washington quarter actually is. The Washington $quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter, and since then it has become one of the most recognizable coins in circulation in the United States. Now, when we speak of the years 1788 to 2000 on these coins, it refers not to the actual striking of coins in 1788, but to the state quarter program that started in 1999 and featured designs for each of the 50 states. Many of those state quarter designs included the year in which the state officially joined the Union. For example, states like Georgia, Connecticut, and Virginia entered the Union in 1788, and their quarters were released in the year 1999 as part of this historic program. The Philadelphia Mint, known by its mint mark letter P, is the main mint where these quarters were struck. Millions and millions of quarters were produced each year with the P mint mark and circulated throughout the country. However, in numismatics, not every coin is equal. Some coins end up being produced with unique errors, rare variations, or extremely high-quality strikes that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. The 1788 to 2000 Mint Mark Washington $quarter are particularly fascinating because of the way the state quarter program blended history, artistry, and national pride. Coins like the Georgia State Quarter, the Connecticut State Quarter, and the Virginia State Quarter, all struck in 1999 at the Philadelphia Mint, carry the year 1788, which is the year these states were admitted into the Union. These coins feature reverse designs that represent important symbols from each state. For Georgia, it is the peach surrounded by live oak sprigs. For Connecticut, it is the famous charter oak tree. For Virginia, it is the depiction of the ships Susan, Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery that carried settlers to Jamestown. While most of these coins are common and can be found in circulation, there are rare examples that stand out. These examples are struck with extreme precision or have minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, or planchet errors. Collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for pristine high-grade examples, especially those certified by professional grading companies in perfect condition. So why do we say that one of these coins is currently valued at $56 million? The answer lies in the world of rare coin auctions and private sales. Every once in a while, a coin that appears ordinary to most people is discovered in such a unique condition that it shocks the collecting community. A single coin might have a combination of a perfect strike, flawless surfaces, historical significance, and an error that makes it one of a kind. In the case of the 1788 to 2000 Mint Mark Washington $quarter, such a coin has achieved legendary status among collectors. Imagine for a moment holding a quarter that looks like any other in your hand, yet under magnification, under the eyes of experts, it turns out to be a specimen struck with such sharpness, such luster, and such rarity that it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The story of this quarter is not only about the design but also about its survival, its preservation, and the collectors who competed for it at auction. The final price stunned the world, reaching $56 million and setting a record that cemented its place in coin collecting history. Let us take a moment to explore the broader history of the Washington quarter to understand why this coin matters so much. From its beginnings in 1932, the coin has gone through several design changes. At first, it featured a bust of George Washington on the obverse with the word Liberty above and the motto "In God We Trust" on the side. The reverse originally showed an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. This classic design remained largely unchanged for decades until the introduction of the bicentennial quarter in 1975 and 1976, which featured a colonial drummer on the reverse. Then came the state quarter program in 1999. This program was designed to run from 1999 through 2008, releasing 5 new designs every year. Each design represented one of the 50 states with imagery significant to their history, heritage, and identity. It became one of the most popular coin programs in U.S. history, with millions of Americans collecting the quarters directly from circulation. Many of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint carrying the P Mint mark, and this is where Our legendary coin comes from collectors are always on the lookout for special characteristics in these coins. Some of the rarest include quarters struck on experimental planchets, quarters with doubled die obverse features, or coins struck slightly off-center. These kinds of errors are rare, and when combined with the perfect preservation of a coin, they create incredible value. The 1788 to 2000p mint mark quarter represents the bridge between the early states of the Union and the modern era of American coinage. It is a coin that ties the history of the founding states of the nation to the artistic legacy of the mint and the pride of Americans everywhere. Now let us consider why people collect coins at all. Coin collecting, known as numismatics, is not only about value, it is about history, artistry, preservation, and connection to the past. Each coin tells a story, and collectors see themselves as guardians of that story. The Washington quarter is especially meaningful because George Washington himself is the symbol of American independence, leadership, and unity. Having him on the coin reminds Americans of their heritage every time they use pocket change in auction. Stories abound about rare finds. Imagine someone purchasing a roll of quarters at a bank only to discover a minting error worth thousands, or imagine inheriting a coin collection from a family member only to realize that one coin inside is worth millions. That is what makes coin collecting so exciting. There is always the possibility of discovering a hidden treasure. The specific coin we are talking about today, valued at $56 million, is a perfect storm of rarity, history, and condition. It is believed to have been struck at the Philadelphia Mint during the release of the state quarter program with an extraordinary error, and preserved in flawless condition from the moment it left the press. Experts say the chances of finding another like it are nearly impossible. This is why the coin reached such a high market value. When we think about this number, $56 million, it is staggering. This is the kind of money that could buy luxury mansions, private jets, or entire businesses. Yet, in this case, it represents the worth of a single coin smaller than the palm of your hand. That shows the true power of rarity and the passion of collectors. As we come closer to the end of our story, let us reflect on how ordinary coins can hold extraordinary value. The Washington quarter, especially the 1788 to 2000p Mint Mark series, represents the blending of American history, state pride, artistry, and numismatic rarity. It is a coin that teaches us that history is not just found in museums or textbooks, but also in the coins we carry in our pockets. So the next time you come across a quarter in your change, do not ignore it. Take a close look. It might just be one of those hidden treasures that could change your life forever. Thank you for watching this long journey through the history and value of the Washington quarter dollar. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. Until next time, keep collecting, keep exploring, and who knows, maybe you will be the next person to discover a coin worth millions of dollars.